Blessings for divine, and don't you forget it. And this is Divine Healing Creations. Right now, I like to take a moment to share my story. And I like to start with something that I've been thinking about today is don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Oftentimes I feel like we may all be guilty of judging a book by its cover. Seeing a person's outside appearance and judging them or making assumptions based on what we see on the outside. And sometimes we may do this unconsciously. It's not usually conscious for most of us on this journey, on the spiritual path. But I do feel as if that is one of the biggest mistakes that anyone can make. Seeing a person's outside appearance and feeling as if we know them or we know who they are or what they are about based on what we see on the outside. We've all heard the saying, it's what's on the inside that counts. And I know that is cliche, but it is very true. It's what's on the inside that matters the most. And sometimes it can go both ways. We can judge people negatively if we deem what their outside appearance looks like as negative, or we can make a positive assumption if we see that their outside appearance is more positive or more presentable. In either case, making those assumptions can be a mistake or they can be wrong. Because everything that glitters isn't gold. A person can be all dressed up on the outside, but the inside ain't right. Or a person can look like they're homeless or not have the best clothes or the best shoes, but what's on the inside is beautiful. And you can see a person that you just assume looks like they have it all together, like they haven't been through anything, like everything comes to them easily. This is just you looking at them. These may be some of the things that you're thinking in your head. Oh, life is easy for them based on outside appearances. And sometimes that can also be the farthest thing from the truth. So, for me, going into my story, my testimony, I've known for a while that the things that I have gone through, my life story, I've known for a while that my life was meant to be a testimony. So my intention with this video is for it to find those that it's supposed to find. And I've already asked Spirit to protect it from those that it is not for. So if you are seeing this now, then that means it's for you. I am sharing my story, my experiences, my testimony to help you on this journey. You may be going through a spiritual awakening. You may be at a point in your life where you are looking around you and realizing that so many things that you were told, so many things that you were taught were not true. You may be waking up to the illusion. So if that is you, if you're waking up right now, if you're rubbing your eyes and you're looking around and you're stretching and you're waking up, Grand Rising. Once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. But once you see the illusions and the lies for what they really are, there's no going back. So this video is to help you and to let you know that you're not alone. You are not alone. So many of us have gone through this awakening, and so many more of you, of us, will do the same as we progress, as we keep pressing forward. So I'll begin. I feel like before I even incarnated here, before I even got here, it was known who I was and what I came here to do. And when I got here, there were people, places, and things already in place to keep me asleep. Excuse me. There are already people in place that were meant to control me, to hinder me, to keep me in the cycle of monotony, to keep me asleep to the fact that there is so much more to our world, our universe, ourselves. The first time I can remember having an experience is what I would call a spiritual experience. I was about, I want to say about 5, maybe 6 years old. Um, that's where my journey started. In Tarot, they call it the Fool's Journey. That's where it started for me. Excuse me. Like I said before I came here, it was already known. It was known. They knew before I knew. That was a plan. So, my experience has been varied. I've lived a life where I've gone through or I've experienced a multitude of different things. Pretty much, I've experienced it all. As a child, I was given to parents who weren't able to give me the type of love that I needed, or the type of love that I gave as an infant, as someone who is deeply in tune with everything around me, with my emotions, with nature, animals, with everything. So, my mother, she was let me rewind a little bit. So, my karmic family, this is a family that I was born into, that I now refer to as my karmic family. That is a cycle that I have closed out. Because I sit before you today having gone through one of the toughest cycles, one of the toughest seasons of my entire life. I sit before you as a survivor of so many different things. As a child, my mother was emotionally unavailable. There was not a lot of emotion, a lot of nurturing. And I do realize now that she had her own life outside of her children, that she was dealing with, or that she was trying to figure out. But what I needed as a child was love, nurturing, and that wasn't something that I received from my mother. My father, he was a provider for sure, but he wasn't there a lot, and he was also physically abusive. One of the earliest memories that I have is of my father being abusive. So at a young age, maybe 5 or 6 years old, I learned at a young age that I had to fend for myself. That all I really had was me. And this kind of came about, I feel like, in bits and pieces. But one incident that stands out to me is I was about 6 or 7 at this time, and my mother was at work. It was on the weekend, and there was an incident with my father, and so where he was abusive. And so I was like, oh gosh, I just can't wait till my mama get home, because I'm gonna tell her, and she gonna stick up for me. She gonna get him. As a child, that's how we think, even as grown-ups. And so my mama, she finally got home, and my dad, he was standing there. My mom, she was standing in front of me. And I just was like, Mama, this happened, my daddy did this to me. And I just remember her laughing in my face. And I was so confused because I didn't know what was funny. I kind of rationalized, even at that age, okay, well, maybe my daddy already told her and they've been discussing it, and that he may have told her that, I'm being dramatic, or it wasn't as serious as I was going to make it seem, because he figured that I was going to tell her. But that may have been what it was, but that was a very defining moment in my life where I learned that it was me. It was just me. And I had to learn to be okay with myself. Be okay with nurturing myself, healing myself. And as I got older, I was always a loner. I went through times in school where I was alone. I felt like I didn't have anyone who was like me or understood me. I remember all the other little kids. This was in elementary school, maybe 3rd or 4th grade. All the other kids would be on the playground playing, and I wouldn't be. I would be alone. I do feel like this was all by design. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it was all by design, because when you are set apart, or when you come here with a purpose, which we all do, but when you are what has been called the black sheep, or there's many different names for it, there are things put in place to keep you feeling as if you don't fit in, or to make you feel that you're alienated. So that is what I experienced. Elementary school, middle school, and especially in high school. There was this anxiety that I always had being around other people, or being in crowds, or being seen. Even playing sports, I was never able to live up, or I was never able to my fullest potential, because there was always this anxiety. And I remember in elementary school, there was this teacher that I really liked. And there was a parent-teacher conference. And afterwards, my mom was like, well, your teacher said that you aren't any different from the other students. You're just like them. You're just like the other students. There's nothing special about you. And as I've gotten older, and just recently actually, I realized that that was a lie. That isn't what my teacher said. It was the complete opposite. My mother was always the person that played both sides. Whenever I would go through something, she would be there, but she would also she would also enjoy my pain. You know, like a person who plays both sides, like a fake friend, but this is my mother we're talking about, so a fake mother. So high school was a big one for me, where I felt a lot of anxiety. In my friend group, even playing sports, there was always a feeling of not fitting in or not being a part of the crowd, which I didn't, just not feeling like I belong. I think that's a better way to put it. So hopefully y'all are following me so far, and I do hope that this is resonating, and I hope that I am making myself clear. I hope that I am being clear, because before I started this video, I wasn't sure where to start or how to start, or if I should write some things down so that I would remember the order that I wanted to go in. But ultimately, I decided that I would just press play and let it flow. So I was 18 when I graduated from high school, and I had signed up for the military to go into the Air Force, because before I graduated, I had been accepted into a college, and I had mentioned it to my parents, and they were like, no, we're not going to spend that money. Basically, they were like, we don't know how well you're gonna do, and basically, you're dumb or your STUPID is the kind of how the conversation ended. No, we're not gonna spend the money, because my grades did slip a bit in high school, so we're not going to spend the money because we don't know how you're going to do, and we're not going to give it a chance at all. So I was on my way to the military after I graduated high school, and I had got a job for the summer before I was to go off to the military. And at this job is where I met my first real boyfriend outside of, high school. school crushes, puppy love, and things like that. This will go on to be a very serious relationship. We were together for about 7 or 8 years after he and I met at this job that I got after high school. So, to make a long story short, the relationship was abusive. There were times when I don't even know what he was upset about, but I would end up in the emergency room or the hospital. There was a time where I believe both of my eyes were black. And it was a very toxic relationship. It was a back and forth type thing. I would leave and then he would apologize and I would go back. It would happen again. I would leave, he would apologize, cry, all of the things. I would go back. It was very toxic. Once I finally let that relationship go, and healed from that relationship, I was by myself for a while. And then there were other relationships after that. There was a relationship where I actually moved to a different state. And that relationship ended as well. It's like these are all karmic situations. It's like the same cycles kind of were repeating, but in different people. So the biggest lesson for me on this journey, the biggest lesson was learning to love myself through it all, from the relationship with my parents, the relationship with my siblings, my romantic relationships. My biggest lesson has been to learn to love myself. So I have been in several car accidents, 3 really bad car accidents that I do believe were meant to take my life, but they did not, obviously, because I'm here still making this video. I've been through domestic violence. In this last cycle of my life that I sit here now, having just completed or just moved on from, was a cycle of closing out a karmic cycle with my karmic family. In April, I was arrested. My children and I, we were just in the car, riding down the road. We were in a new city. This is after having walked away, closed the door on my karmic family members. My children and I moved. I was time to walk away and close those doors. And it seems like as soon as I walked away, as soon as I closed that door, they started working even harder to complete their mission, complete the mission that karmics come here to do, which is to bring us down, to stop us, basically, in any way that they can. If we choose not to stay asleep, or if we choose to stand up for ourselves and stand up to them and let them know that we're not going to be controlled. We see what's going on. We see past the illusions. This was my karmic mother, my karmic father, as well as my karmic sister, my karmic brother, my entire karmic family, karmic grandmother, aunts, uncles, cousins, but mainly my karmic mother, my karmic father, and my karmic siblings. They were the main ones who were sent, or who did the most work, who invested the most time, energy, effort, and money in stopping me, trying to sabotage me, and going so far as to try to take my life. The main ones that I know for sure, my karmic mother, my karmic father, and my karmic younger sister. And now, I do believe that we all come here with a purpose, with a plan. Some of us are of the light, and others are of the darkness. That's just how it is. That there's duality. There has to be. If there's light, then there's going to be darkness. If there's good, then there's bad. If there's yin, there's yang. If there's up, there's down. Duality, balance. So they came here with a purpose, and I came here with a purpose. Their purpose, which they were very committed to, was to stop me, to sabotage me, to keep me asleep, to keep me bound by any means necessary, and they were very committed to that. My purpose was to break free, to break those binds, to break those chains, to break those generational curses, and I am very committed to that. So, I've gone through it all. They tried everything. They tried to keep me stuck in the past with them. They tried to bring up my past, to throw that in my face, to make me feel as if I was less than them, or they were better than me. Magic, black magic, witchcraft, spell work, chaos magic, suicide magic, death magic, you name it, hoodoo, voodoo, everything. They tried it all, even as far as trying to take my life, putting a hit out on me, paying someone to try and kidnap me or kill me, whatever the plan was. So, If you can relate, then that means that you have a very important calling on your life. You are here for a very important purpose. So don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. When I look back, there has been so many things that could have stopped me. So many things that could have caused me to be mentally unstable. So many things that could have caused me to stop, to give up, from homelessness, abuse, physically, mentally, physical abuse, mental abuse. There has been so much. Some things that were done, I still don't know. I still haven't learned about. Some things I'm still not able to wrap my head around as to the why. Why go to such great lengths to sabotage someone, to block someone who has only ever loved you. And as I'm sitting here, I know that there is someone who can relate to this video. I feel like I've kind of gone back and forth, and I was kind of here and there. But I am hopeful, and I know that those who know. Those who are meant to understand will understand. Those who are meant to see this and to be encouraged by this will be. And those who aren't, those who this message is not for, won't see it, won't be here. Excuse me. So I do stand before you as someone who was asleep for a long time, and then I woke up, and I've been awake ever since. And when I first realized that there was so much more to the little box that we were put in, that there is so much more outside of that box. I wanted to tell everyone. I shared so many things with different people who were looking like, what are you talking about? No, that's evil, or it's wicked, or that's not true, or that's not in the Bible, or where did that come from? What are you talking about? So if you've experienced that, if you're going through that, then just know that you're not alone. This journey is full of ups and downs, come here with the purpose to help lead and guide and awaken others. Because they know that once you wake up, it's like a ripple effect. The more people that awaken to the illusion, to the lies, to the facade, the more things begin to change. The more their illusions begin to crumble. And that is the time that we are living in now. The illusion has crumbled. Wake up, rise and shine, because we are never going back. You can do this. We can do this. So, if you are at a place in your life now where you are waking up, you are seeing the illusions, you are not crazy. What you know to be true is true. There is a deep sense of knowing that comes along with the spiritual path. It's more than faith, which is having a belief in something that you're not sure about. Excuse me. Believing in something that you can't see or that you can't feel. With spirituality, awakening is about knowing, and when you know, you know. So, again, rise and shine. It is time. We are here together. We are on this journey together. We are awakening together, and we shall rise together. So, I am Zuri D. The D stands for divine, and don't you forget it. This is Divine Healing Creations. If you can relate to this video, if anything I said resonates with you, let me know in the comments down below, or just leave me a heart emoji, hit that like button, the subscribe button. Let's support each other as we awaken, as we evolve.